And those things are deeper rooted than just masking or flatlining hormones, right? So it's looking at what's going on in your gut. What is happening with your minerals? How are you eating enough? How's your stress? All of these things are so important, but doctors don't have the education to dive into those things. They don't know those things truly. So that's why I opened my business to fill this gap, to give women another option for deeply healing their hormones. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of She's in Sync, the podcast for women looking to have a safe and confident transition off of birth control and heal their hormones naturally. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm recording this on a Saturday, which is weird for me. So I'm like super casual, my hair's up, I'm like in my big sweatshirt. And I was planning on recording this Monday, but I got a chemical peel yesterday and I'm going to start peeling tomorrow. And so I was like, by Monday, my face is going to be peeling off. And no one, if you watch the video of this, no one wants to see that, nor do I want to record and have that be up on social media for the world to see. So I am in between cleaning projects. I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? You have one of those days and you're like, I just want to clean. And like, I'm just really motivated to like do a deep clean. So I like vacuumed and did my part of the cleaning. So if you know me or you've listened to this before, I talk about like, I do most of the cleaning. Like I do the vacuuming, I do like the kitchen, our main room, but Jared does the bathrooms because I absolutely hate cleaning the bathroom. So anyways, I did my cleaning part today, got some laundry done. I'm like washing our pillows on our couch that Blue lays on. And I also have it on my agenda to clean the fridge because I don't know about you guys, but that I feel like I just cleaned that, like taking all the drawers out and deep cleaning it. And it's just, there's so many crumbs and so much in there now. I don't even know how that happened. So anyways, that is what I'm going to do the rest of my Saturday. But I wanted to get this podcast in here because we're going to be talking about the ripple effects of root cause hormone healing that no one talks about. So as we approach the end of the year, so if you're listening to this, I recorded it. This is, mid-December. It's going to go out December 29th. It's going to be my last 2025 podcast of the year. So as the year ends, like most people, I've just been doing a lot of reflecting. So in January, it will be my second full year in business, which is crazy. It feels like it's been longer and shorter at the same time. And so I've been doing a lot of reflecting on what this past year has looked like with the women that I've been working with. And so when we think of what success in terms of hormone healing looks like, we often think about more symptom resolution, so clearer skin, better periods, a more regular period or a monthly period that comes like clockwork. Maybe it is better mood, less PMS, better labs. So I do retesting with most of my clients and who are in my VIP coaching program. And we see huge improvements in their labs, which is really, really cool. And what people don't expect, and I don't even think I fully prepared myself for this as I switched, careers into the hormone space and specifically the birth control space, is the ripple effects that go far beyond better labs and no more period cramps, for example. So I want to first paint the picture of women who start working with me, where they're starting at, because I'm sure if you're a former or current client with me, you can 100% relate to this. And maybe you're not a client, or maybe you're someone who's like just looking for information and you're looking to learn how to safely transition off birth control or get to the root of your acne or your anxiety or your period issues without, simply just going to your doctor again and being told, well, just take birth control or take this medication, or that's just part of being a woman. So women come to me and they are emotionally drained. So they're tired of their mood swings, right? So they're snapping at their kids and then crying in session with me when they're talking about that. I had this experience just recently with a client who is in my accelerator program. She was describing how she just has these crazy mood swings at certain points in her cycle, and she's snapping at her kids for no reason. And then she's crying moments later in the bathroom because she just is like, I don't know what happened to me. I don't know why I did that. That's not me. And I've heard this many, many times. Women, they're like, that's just not me, but I don't know why I did that. And it keeps happening. So they feel guilty, but they don't know what to do. Or they're tired of hiding behind makeup, or the first thing they think of when they wake up is, touching their face or going to the mirror and looking to see if they have a new zit pop up, or they're tired of hiding behind Zoom filters, or if they're not, maybe it's an in-person meeting when they normally have Zoom meetings and they have that Zoom filter, they're so nervous about people seeing their skin or being judged or people looking at them a different way. And acne is really confidence wrecking because people see it, it's on your face. They might feel trapped on birth control. So they might have a lot of the women I work with, they have just gotten married and they want to come off birth control and start preparing to conceive. Maybe they don't want kids right now, but they know that it's important to proactively prep their body for a healthy pregnancy, both for mom and for baby. Or maybe they've been on birth control for several years and they don't want kids, or they don't want kids yet, but they just want to come off, but they're terrified of coming off because they were put on birth control for a reason other than pregnancy prevention, or in addition to pregnancy prevention. So things like PCOS, endometriosis, acne, mood swings, erratic periods, all of those things. Birth control is the most prescribed medication for women. And this is truly a gap in the medical. I talk about this a lot. This is truly a gap and something that I am hoping to fill, of giving women another option besides just take birth control or just suffer. Because birth control isn't getting to the root of the problem. It's not telling you why are you having erratic periods, for example, or why are you having painful periods? Why are you having acne? And those things are deeper rooted than just masking or flatlining hormones, right? So it's looking at what's going on in your gut, what is happening with your minerals, how are you eating enough, how's your stress? All of these things are so important, but doctors don't have the education to dive into those things. They don't know those things truly. So that's why I opened my business, to fill this gap, to give women another option for deeply healing their hormones. So I want to normalize this experience, right? Like, so many women are coming to me struggling with these symptoms, and they just feel like they're broken. They've done a ton of labs with their doctor. Maybe they've even worked with functional providers before, and they've been on, all the supplements. They think they're eating healthy, they're exercising, but they still feel like shit. And they're like, I don't know what else to do. And so the thing I want to say is that, your body isn't broken. It's communicating with you. You just haven't been given the right tools, the right information, or the right support to know exactly what it needs to feel better and to heal. And that's what I do in my practice. And that's exactly why I run the targeted functional labs, to identify those deeper imbalances that are leading to those symptoms that you're experiencing, and help you in the process have a safe transition off of birth control by getting to the root and healing those symptoms versus just quitting cold turkey. And that's when the hormonal chaos happens, AKA post-birth control syndrome. So when I talk about, root cause healing, that's what it means. So when you actually invest in yourself and you invest in working together, for example, you're not just investing money, you're investing your time, you're investing your energy, you're investing trust in the process and in your body, and you're also investing consistency. So healing is not linear. I have a whole podcast episode on that. It's not a straight trajectory up. And that's why having support and someone hold your hand and be there for you during the process to let you know, okay, this is normal or this isn't. Let's change course, or we just need to stay consistent, or you need to be patient, is so helpful. So you're not just blindly Googling or guessing or being told, like, I don't know. So I want to emphasize that women come to me, really bringing this full circle here. They come to me to heal their acne. They come to me to transition off of birth control with minimal or zero side effects. They come to me for better periods, for better mood, right? That's what I specialize in. What they didn't come for is a complete life-changing experience. They didn't come to me because they thought they would grow as a human being. They came to me just because they wanted to feel like themselves again. However, in less than a year, so many women have told me my life has been completely changed with working with you. And this isn't me tooting my own horn. Absolutely not. I mean, this is me. I really want to emphasize how this healing journey impacts all facets of your life, because it's not just about acne, right? It's not just about periods. I think sometimes women get so focused or hyperfixated on, well, I shouldn't worry about my acne. Like I'm being silly, or it's not worth investing my time or my money into this. Like it's too much. And I want to respectfully disagree with you and challenge that, because again, if we go back to you're snapping at your kids and then you're crying, or you are, constantly anxious and you don't know why, or you feel stuck on a medication that's making you feel flat and not like yourself, and you're having digestive issues from it, but you're scared to come off. Those things are not selfish. Those things are not worth it, air quotes. And so, I want to give some examples of this with some true stories that clients have told me recently, because as the year ends, not only am I reflecting, not only are you reflecting most likely, but my clients are reflecting. And they're sending me the best messages talking about how this experience has transformed their life. And I'm going to give you some examples of that and what they've said. So one of my clients came to me and she was wanting to transition off of birth control. And she was also experiencing a lot of sleep issues. So having trouble falling asleep, difficulty staying asleep. She'd wake up multiple times throughout the night. She would be anxious. She would look into and feel like people were always upset with her. It impacted her relationship with her partner at the time. And she didn't realize all of these things until we started digging deeper and I started asking the right questions. And she was like, oh, I just thought that was normal. And she had been on birth control for over 20 years at this point. So about half of her life. And she joined my VIP one-on-one coaching program. And so our main goal was to help her proactively transition off of birth control and get to the root of her anxiety symptoms naturally. And we did that. So she is successfully off birth control. She's having a regular period that is basically like non-symptomatic, which is amazing. And she also said that she feels so calm. She feels more social. She's going up to people at the gym and starting conversations with them. She's doing more things with girlfriends. She feels more grounded. And she said, I always wanted to be the woman that I am now. And now I finally feel like I'm stepping into her. And that was so cool to get that message, because I just remember when we first started working together, she felt so unsure of herself. Again, she felt like everyone was judging her or upset with her. And now she's in this place where she is herself and she's just calm, cool, collected. And one big thing that this led to is she ended up ending a relationship with her partner because it didn't feel aligned for her anymore. She was growing so fast and she felt like that relationship no longer aligned with the growth that she was pursuing in herself. And she messaged me that and told me about that. And she went through emotions with that, of course. It was a long-term relationship. And she still took that in stride. And she had so much confidence in that decision because she had confidence in herself. And so the key takeaway I want to say here is that, hormonal balance and getting off of a medication that, again, was causing her anxiety, I truly believe that, and her nervous system was now safe, she could have more self-trust in herself to make those big life decisions that she and her gut had known for a while, but she felt more confident in herself to make those decisions. Another client of mine, she came to me, she had stopped birth control about a year prior and was really struggling with acne. That was her main concern. She was like, I'm in my 40s. I don't know why I'm struggling with acne. I shouldn't be struggling with acne at 40 years old. And I agreed. I was like, okay, there's obviously, we know with acne, it's multifaceted. There's so many root causes that go unrecognized by dermatologists or mainstream acne treatments. And her acne wasn't just physical, right? Like it wasn't just like, okay, this hurts, this is annoying, but it carries a lot of emotional weight. So she would feel embarrassed if there wasn't a filter on her Zoom calls. She would, when she went to the gym and she wasn't wearing makeup, she would feel really self-conscious. And she was carrying around a lot of emotional stress from that. And throughout the process, throughout this healing journey, she went through so many highs and some lows. And I remember her starting to tear up in a session where her acne had started getting a lot better right from the very get-go. And then she had a relapse isn't the right word, but like she had an acne flare. And so she felt like she was regressing, or she felt like, oh, great, like this, I thought this was working. And now my skin's flaring again. It's just going to be like everything else. It's not going to work for me. Like, I'm so upset. So we had an honest, open conversation about how healing is not linear and how this is normal. We were starting a gut protocol. She was getting on, a routine by an acne esthetician. So she was working on topical stuff and, putting new actives on her face that her face wasn't used to. And we were doing some deep healing work, and it was going to take time. And so she started tearing up in the session, and she started crying in the session. And so I asked her, what's coming up for you right now? And she was just sharing the stress, not just of her acne, but she realized she was carrying a lot of emotional weight from past trauma, past relationships, just the climate of the world, really, like not just the United States, but the climate of the world was just very heavy for her. And so we had talked about, and I brought up the idea of, have you thought about seeing a therapist before? Because I bring this up with a lot of my clients, because when we're looking at holistic healing, we're not just looking at, okay, take this supplement, eat this food. We're looking at the whole facet of things. Of if it's acne, we're looking at, what are you putting on your face? What are you putting on your skin? And are you, how are you doing emotionally, mentally? And I can support in some capacity with that, but I know where my lane is. And so I oftentimes will refer to trusted therapists to help with that emotional side of healing, or that past trauma side of healing. And so many of my clients start seeing therapists throughout our work together, which I think is so, so cool. And I can tell you it's so helpful. So I can think of 3 clients right now who I've recommended see therapists, and they're all seeing therapists now, and they're thriving. Even the client I mentioned before. And so she started seeing a therapist, and she came to our next session, and she was like, thank you for holding the space for me to let that emotion out. I think I just needed to feel safe enough to do that. And I'm loving therapy. I didn't know how much I needed it. And her skin started to heal again. And so again, it's not just it's my acne. It's like, what is the acne telling us? Yes, she had tons of gut overgrowth. Yes, she was undernourished. Yes, she had tons of mineral deficiencies, but she was also super stressed. And so it's not just a matter of food or hormones. It's a matter of what else is going on. And that is the job that I have. And again, to refer out to another specialist when needed, to get a well-rounded team to help support women in their healing journey. And so she is thriving now. She is really doing well. She's come such a far way. And she's recently sent me a Christmas card, and it was just like the sweetest thing. I stopped dead in my tracks when I was reading it. And she said, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done this year to help me. And again, this isn't to toot my own horn. This is truly, she did the hard work. I gave her the tools. I gave her the data. I gave her the support, but she's the one that implemented. And I will tell you, all these women, the one I just talked about, her, they put in the work. And they again trusted. They put in the time, they put in the finances, they did everything to heal, and they trusted me, they trusted themselves, they trusted their body, and they are reaping the benefits. The last one I want to share is a client whose period worsened. So her and I have been working together. It'll be a little under a year at this point. And she came to me because she was having debilitating periods. She would throw up, she would pass out, she would have to skip work. And doctors, the only recommendation they had is like, go on birth control. And she tried that. And it took her to a very dark place emotionally. And so she's like, I just can't do birth control. And she's very health conscious. She knew the side effects of birth control and how it impacted her body. And so she just was like white knuckling it through half the month, essentially, like the week before and the week of her period. So we did some deep dive work. We identified her root causes, including overgrowth of gut bacteria, mineral deficiencies. She was also significantly underfueling. And she also had, we suspect, low iodine with her as well. So we're focusing on iodine rich foods. There were a lot of things going on. And a big one we identified was stress. So we worked on the physical stress of things, of undereating, malnutrition, etc., getting rid of the gut pathogens. And her job was just so stressful, so stressful. And we had some really honest conversations in our work together about how stress is a huge thing here. I mean, with all of these examples, mental emotional stress is a huge factor in chronic disease, in hormone imbalance. And they unfortunately just, a lot of providers skip that. And I refuse to skip it because I know how important it is. And I've seen firsthand how effective it is. And I also know how hard it is to change that. We can't just like quit our jobs or like end all of our relationships or just live on a deserted island. Of course not. But we want to build stress resiliency. So when stress comes our way, we can take it better and we can manage it better. We have those tools to do it better. And we also want to be realistic of like, if you're in a job where it's literally causing debilitating periods, that's a problem. That's a problem. We need to like look at that. Doesn't mean you have to quit your job right away, but we need to talk about that. And so this client actually ended up finding another job. She actually had what I call like a fun employment period where she didn't even have another job lined up. She was like, I just need to get out of this. So she quit her job. She had a fun employment period and her periods just got so much better. And, we identified her menstrual cycle was a messenger. It wasn't the problem itself. It was a messenger. It was telling her that she was burnt out, that she was under chronic stress, that her periods worsened every month because of those things. And so she and I made that connection. We had those honest conversations, no pressure conversations. And she on her own realized this is something that my health is way more important than a couple of months of not working. And so she made a big decision to quit her job. And now she's in a new job that is so much more fulfilling and just so much more aligned with her and is impacting her body in that way. So these breakthroughs aren't a coincidence, right? These women had the support, they had the structure, they had the data from their body, and they had these open, honest conversations of being seen and guided. And they understood, instead of masking those symptoms, they understood what their body was asking for, right? So you don't just get better periods or clearer skin with the work that we're doing. You get a better life, and it ripples into your relationships, your jobs, your kids' lives, right? All of these things come back to how you're feeling. And it's not selfish to get help. It's not selfish to invest in yourself. And of course, you have to be ready, right? Like you have to be ready to do this work because it's not easy. It's not an easy button. But when you do, and when that time is right, it's life-changing, right? And I don't say that lightly. So, what actually happens inside my coaching programs? Yes, we cover functional labs. We cover the sexy stuff, what to eat, never not what to eat, because I am never about restriction here. So what to eat, and supplements that actually help cramps, acne, post-pill hormone imbalance, right? But the deeper layers of nervous system regulation, stress patterns, relationship dynamics, emotional well-being. Your hormones don't live in a vacuum, and neither do you. All of these things impact each other. Just like, I a couple episodes ago talked about the hidden iceberg of hormone imbalances, right? It's not just our hormones, it's our gut health, it's our detox pathways, it's our vitamin and minerals, it's our sleep, it's our stress. All of those things impact our hormones. It's not just, oh, well, why is my progesterone low? I need to take a pill to help bring it up, right? It's the deeper layers. So I want to just speak directly to you. If you've been craving healing that goes deeper than a supplement list or a cookie cutter meal plan, if you want to reconnect with yourself, not just fix the symptoms. I mean, we definitely fix the symptoms, right? But I want you to have this life transformation. I want it to impact your entire life for the better. then I want you to go into 2027 as a turning point and viewing it as a turning point, right? So if you are interested in safely transitioning off birth control, or if you've already stopped birth control and your hormones are a disaster and you're experiencing the acne or the anxiety or mood swings or period issues, these are things that you deserve to get support on. So, if you are interested in getting one on one support with me, I have a variety of different coaching programs and I would love to help support you. Feel free to book a free, no pressure discovery call with me where we'll just hop on a call and talk through your symptoms. I'll hear you out and we'll talk about if working together is the perfect fit and the exact right program that would be the perfect fit for you. And the possibility of feeling radically different by the time 2027 rolls around. I realized I said framing 2027 as a turning point. I meant framing 2026 as a turning point. So you feel radically different by the time 2027 rolls around, because all these women I was talking about, my client who ended a relationship that didn't feel aligned and is feeling like her best self and the most aligned with herself and her personality than she has in years. The client who healed her acne after stopping birth control and is working on her emotional well-being through therapy. The client who quit her job and found a job and that's more aligned and that is having better periods for the first time in her life without relying on birth control. All of those clients saw those changes and those revolutionary results in less than a year of working together. And again, this goes to show how quickly you can feel better when you have the right labs, when you have the right support, when you have the right customized plan. So I hope that 2026 is the year that you invest in yourself, whether it's working with me or another provider or simply just learning more about this. And I hope that you see these life-changing transformations as well. So cheers to 2026 being the best year yet, feeling the best you can, having the best periods, feeling the least stressed, feeling like you have the most energy, better digestion, clear skin. I know it's possible for you. So happy last podcast of 2025. I am so grateful that you've been here. If you've been here from the beginning, it'll be almost a year of doing this podcast. If you have just found me, thank you for being here. Would love for you to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I have some amazing stuff coming in 2026. I can't wait to show and share with you. And until next time, stay nourished, friends.